Yo guys, what's up? It's your girl Dev, and today we're going to talk about kingdom diplomacy. And it's probably the most sought out topics to find and search for on YouTube because most people really don't know how to talk about it because there's so many variables involved in kingdom diplomacy. Like, where do you start? You've been assigned as the kingdom diplo, or you just want to learn more about it. There's so much that goes into it, it's insane. And it's going to be part of a series because I can't cram all of this knowledge into one video. But if I did, it would be like an hour and a half long because sometimes I might ramble on a little bit. But overall, kingdom diplomacy is probably one of the more important things when it comes to Rise of Kingdoms. And why is that? Well, in this series, we're going to talk about exactly what that is and how it will help you and benefit you overall. Now, please note, of course, you will try as many things as you possibly can to think that you can run your kingdom perfectly and everything will run smooth. Don't always think every situation is the same and every outcome is going to be the same thing because we as humans are different and unique, and that's what makes us, well, human. So take a lot of this information in and apply it to different parts of your kingdom and maybe offer some new advice in the comments to those things that I may not have covered that you would like to see more information in topic coverage on. But let's get started. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Okay, so now we're going to talk a lot into really what it's like to be a kingdom diplomat. And I myself have been a kingdom diplomat multiple times in multiple different kingdoms, different types of mindsets, and really different structures of kingdoms. It's been very unique experience as long as I've been playing for Rise of Kingdoms and the kingdoms I've been in. It's quite a dynamic and it's very interesting, and there's no right or wrong answer on the best way to go about being a really good kingdom diplomat. Now, in this specific episode, it's more of like an introduction to what kingdom diplomats do and their purpose. So let's go ahead and kick this off. Being a kingdom diplomat is extremely difficult, and there's so much that goes into it. It's really crazy. And it may not just be for your kingdom, it may be just an alliance diplomat. The person that everybody will go to in case they have questions, comments, or concerns about something that's going on in your alliance. They are that person between the alliance members and the other alliances or kingdoms and your king slash alliance leader, depending on who that is. And normally you will find that on their alliance board because the alliance board is the location that you're going to find a lot of this information, and it allows us to know really who people are and who someone needs to go to if they have questions. Now, for being a kingdom diplomat, the first few things that you need to know and really the importance of it is really what it comes down to on being a diplomat and why we use them. Well, RoK is a PvP type game where it requires people to fight each other, right? And there are times that fighting may not be required and it can be solved via discussions and agreements. So really how wars are fought, because sometimes if you're building on a map and you're trying to find alliance land and territory for you, well, what you got to do is you got to make sure that like everybody around you knows exactly where you're going, what you're doing, and what it takes to get to your destination. So if we wanted to take one of these circles down in the south, we have to work with our allies and do diplomacy with them to kind of make an agreement to just say, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I need you approval for it in order to accomplish my mission. And essentially that's what a diplomat does. You need to know a lot of information about your kingdom to do tasks that your alliance leader slash your king wants to do. And a lot of these times and cases, your king is your diplomat. And that does happen. And it's a lot of stress and a lot on somebody. That's why we recommend to always have a backup or somebody else that can do it for you. And it does help to have somebody on the opposite time zone, or maybe that shares a little bit of your time zone for when you're picking a kingdom diplomat. So You really need to know, like, the really breakdown to this is, like, you need to know what you're capable of. What does your alliance have that they can offer to other alliances or other kingdoms? What do you have that nobody else doesn't? And what are you really good at? What are your strengths? What do you excel the best at? You do the best at strategy or war planning? Do you have the best whales and heavy spenders that can be used in multiple different ways and that are willing to help out in any way possible to win your objective, no matter depending on what it is? And also your strength, like how many members you have that are actually like really active and know how to play the game. Either they've been playing for a long time, they have the commanders, they have the troops. Is your kingdom just plain active, like stupid active? Do you have all the activity in the world but maybe lack the heavy strong whales that really will help push you to the edge? So there's a lot of things as the diplomat that you really need to know about your kingdom or your alliance in general, because then what you will do is you'll take that knowledge that you have and try to find other alliances or other kingdoms that have things that you don't. Like they fill in the gap that you lack at. For example, and this is a very big example for my kingdom in 1874 in particular, we lack like the stupid heavy massive spenders. And that's a pretty huge lack to have. Why do I say that? And why do I say it like that? Well, having a really strong whales and spenders, that's really going to show you, like, can they like 5 march fill a garrison? And are they okay with that? You know, are they okay with fielding hundreds of marches on the field and they can just automatically like reheal everything and speed everything up? Are these the whales that are going to push your alliance to first place in the pre-KVK, or get your alliance to where you want to get at, like a 5th place for seasons 1, 2, and 3, which is for training speed? So there's really a lot of dynamic to that. And in my kingdom, we don't have those massive spenders. So, well, we picked 1864. They have those massive spenders and can just throw troops on the field in massive numbers, and their time zones are a little bit opposite of ours. We do share a little bit of time zone, but they have that we lack in, which is really important. And so as a diplomat, we decided to find a kingdom that would really fit that, and they fit that, and they're obviously next to us, which did help a lot in the long run too, but it's somewhat random on where they put them. But then now you get the understanding, right? So you really need to know where your strengths and where your weaknesses are, so that way when you're putting your alliance on the field with your members, that you will be able to fulfill your strengths, and those that are around you will be able to help them where you lack. And a lot of the stronger kingdoms, they kind of follow the same logic on this, and they may do it slightly different. And that's the way that I've built this KVK structure and how we've built this kingdom going into season 3. But before this, like, let's go back in the past, right? Let's, like time travel back to season 1 and season 2, where you don't get to pick your allies. It's completely random. Well, you still do the same thing, same kind of scenario. Take an evaluation of the different kingdoms and the alliances and a little bit about their history. Now, I will say this. Just because they have a bad history doesn't mean they're a bad kingdom. They just may have had a bad track record at a little bit of point in time, but had some new leadership. It's like, you're under new management. Well, when you're under new management, things tend to change. And it may change for the better, or it may change for the worse. It really kind of depends. And every structure is going to be different. No two kingdoms are alike. You can say that over and over again. I feel I'm going to be a broken record every time I talk about that, but we really are not. You can do what you want and try to get to that same structure that these kingdoms have, structured MGEs, and they do it this way. And these kingdoms say, oh, if you get high in pre-KVK or high in honor, there's a higher chance that you're going to get like the MGE rewards and placements. And it's really dynamically different per kingdom. And then you've got the break in languages. So I could go on about that stuff. But so as you can see, this is kind of why it's important to know a little bit about your kingdom first, really know your alliance, your kingdom, your members, know how they are and how they act and how they'll respond in chats and how they really are as people, because, Rise of Kingdoms is a bunch of people and we're just humans. So it's really good to know where you stand and how you rack up against your competitors. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. I really wanted to make sure you guys kind of got the topic of this, and that really souls around like, what is kingdom diplomacy and what do you need to know as a diplomat? What do you have to offer as a kingdom? Like, what kind of alliance members and people you have in your kingdom, and really, why is it so important? Because it really could be a breaking point. You as the kingdom diplomat are the transition from your kingdom to the next kingdom, and how you act in front of that kingdom really shows the kind of people you are. And that's why it's really important to have 1 or 2 diplomats and really no more than that, because having too many people in the pot and in the mix can cause a lot of problems. So really having 1 to 2 diplomats and then your king. So that way, a lot of that information's passed. It's really through the diplomat, and then the king steps in when he feels like he needs to set his foot down, because this is how it's going to be. But either way, you really need to know what your kingdom's capable of, worth of strength, troops, and then what you have for territory and structures. That way you really know and where you need to set the bar. And of course, where do you want to go? You need to know where you start and where you want to finish. That way, when you're trying to articulate that to your allies or to the other kingdoms or other people, like, this is where we are, but we want to be up there. Like, we want to be here, but we're here. So this is what we need to do to get to here. And that's kind of how we did this. And I hope you guys learned a little bit about diplomacy in this video. And if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like on it. And don't forget to subscribe. And so yeah, hope you enjoyed. And stick around for a lot more about diplomacy. So for now, just keep it real.